Hey, everybody, I'm Brian.
I'm Joey. Oh, you started?
Yeah, we've started.
Oh, you told me, but
Welcome to the Maryland Fishing Line, episode 45. Today is Tuesday, March 30th, 2021. Let's talk about fishing in Maryland. Before we do that, Joey, how are you this week?
I am behind on show notes.
That's okay.
I'm doing pretty good. I did some fishy stuff.
I saw that you fished on Sunday, right? Or
No,
Monday?
I fished yesterday.
You fished Monday, which is yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was supposed to be busy most of Sunday, not here yesterday. Had a busy week at work, and I ended up having Sunday and Monday off. Both horrible weather days. Like Sunday was nasty. I'm glad I canceled
Yeah.
the meetup. I was over at the Beanery at like 9, 10 o'clock, and it was just storming, and it was a good call.
Because I thought you were supposed to do we were supposed to do the meetup Sunday morning, and then
Yeah.
you were taking Sunday afternoon off, and then you were supposed to go travel to get boats on
Yeah, I
Monday,
was supposed
right?
to leave like at 3:30, 4 yesterday morning. Just some issues with getting our truck re-registered for work.
Okay, and that just all fell through. You didn't go.
We're behind on getting, So worst case, I already have a F-250 rented from Enterprise for Thursday night,
Okay.
and I'll go down Friday.
Okay.
No, so what that did was, it opened up. Sunday afternoon, I worked on my kayak for the first time since I was supposed to do that back in January. I was really behind, and I just haven't had time. So, reset that up, finally routed my transducer and all the other crap, and then decided to take a dip yesterday just to see what was out in the creek. I've heard some rumors about different species of fish, so I wanted to get my hand out there. Wasn't actually fishing for stripers, and the season technically shuts down in 2 days.
I think it's
April
already
1st.
shut down for creeks and tribs.
Oh, I don't know.
I think March is no bueno catch and release. I think it's bay proper only for catch and release in March.
I don't know.
And then April is completely shut down.
Yep.
And then trophy season is the first 2 weeks in May. And then we're going to talk about what they've done a little bit later for what they announced today. What were you out there fishing for? You've got to share.
Fish.
What have you heard was out there?
Well, I've been hearing some rumors about fish, and I wanted to hear. I want to see if the redfish stayed all winter.
Yeah.
And Solomon's is always one of those things where people don't know if the perch come in or not. I didn't catch any perch yesterday.
Yeah.
I caught some windburn. It was windy.
I have not seen any perch in the creek yet.
No.
But the water has gotten cloudy, which is one of the telltale things. As soon as the water starts to get cloudy, they start to move. And when the water clears up is when they go away.
Yeah.
So the water is definitely cloudy, and I wouldn't be surprised. But it always seems like I'm the same way. The top end of my creek, I think the perch come in a little bit later because it just takes them a little while to get up there. But those redfish went to deep holes.
Yeah. I've heard rumors from some people that they have been caught in other bodies of water in the state of Maryland right now.
Well, I know that they're catching
I've
them
been
down.
sworn not to say where. I might tell you after the podcast.
I know that it doesn't matter. I know that they are
no,
catching them down
my friend Tony.
Virginia.
Oh,
I know
yeah, but that's normal.
Yeah, I know they're catching them down there, and they're catching big redfish down there now. So
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on here, and that's part of what I've been wanting to get out in the creek. And
Where I
look for.
heard the fish were being caught, I never would have thought. I got a hat here. I just saw myself on camera. So never would have thought that they would have been here where they were in general in the middle of summer. So I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I already had the day off. My plans at work. You saw I ran my transducer cable through my rudder housing.
I saw that.
And I got my grommets. I got to fill it in.
Are you just going to put some grommets in that and put a little silicone?
Yeah. For those, because I made the holes just a little bit bigger than the transducer head, so I could put my cable through it. So it's really tight and small. It's actually hidden. I got rubber grommets from Ace for that and some black silicone.
So you at that point where you did that, and so what you're talking about is
my left of my seat, because I actually run my Garmin right up on my seat. I don't know, people run them really far out and I can't touch it.
So when I set my boats up, I took your advice and did that, and I set them up right in front of the rudder control.
Yeah,
right at your knee.
Yep.
I did present me with a problem with those little Garmin Striker 4s that they are very delicate on the mounting.
Oh, you told me that.
So I had to put a little lanyard kind of device, just a little tether on it to actually keep them tight.
But
let me ask you a question about that hole though, because what you're talking about is there's like a shroud that goes over the side of the hull.
Yep.
where the rudder control sits.
Yep.
You popped a hole through the shroud, but then did you go directly through the hole on the backside of that too?
So you have your gunnel running this way, and you take that little cover off, and then it has a step down up and then step back. It's really simple. And then on that, what you call a shroud, which I don't even know what that means.
A covering.
Yeah, the cover is your rudder handle. So there's nothing in the way there. So on the forward part of that, I have a small hole at the bottom, and it comes out there, and it makes a 90-degree turn.
Okay.
And then I use one of those little like clips that have a little guide right now. You saw it in the picture.
Yep.
And just have it, and then it goes straight up into the Garmin.
But you actually take that transducer cable, it goes into the hole behind the cover.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it goes into the hole right there.
So you've got the.
So there's two holes.
Yeah, that was what I was trying to get
at. And it takes
at.
a nice. It's not a sharp turn to it's going to damage anything. It's nice. It's a nice. Not a lot of friction built up because I can adjust the length if I need to.
Sure.
So I'll get it set and then I'll epoxy or I'll silicone it. Yeah.
Now your power cable though, you're running.
So
what'd you do with that?
I'm in the middle of building out a box. So I actually got a Pelican case from Marcus. We've been doing some gentleman agreement trades.
Okay.
He brought me a really nice Pelican case that I'm actually going to, I guess Greg Blanchard style. Because remember, I was going to do the whole ammo can in my box behind the thing back in wherever. And then that just.
So you're no longer doing the ISOL power thing?
No.
Okay.
My order got lost and they got it restocked and they asked me to refill it. And I was like, no, I'm just going to. I've studied enough wiring over the last few weeks again. So what we're going to do is we're segment half of the Pelican case, and I got like a 5-panel switch, and I'm just going to put something inside there because I only want a couple SAE plugs coming out of that, which will be my fish finder power.
Right.
So it'll run minimally right behind the seat and in there, so that won't stick out too much.
Gotcha.
And then I don't want a bunch of buttons on the outside of that case. But what's nice about the case is it's got a roller wheels.
Wow. What size battery are you putting in that thing?
Just 2 7-amp hours.
Okay.
Yeah, but the other half of it is perfect for my tackle.
Okay.
So I'm going to open it up. I have I should have brought it, these really cool, like a bunch of pockets up on top of the, Marcus kept pistols and magazines in it.
Okay.
So it's, some of the foam's cut out for pistols and magazines. I'm going to recut it out, and the other half is just going to be tackle and like my actual camera and stuff that I want to take.
So you're not doing a crate, then that's gonna be the crate.
I have the rod holders that come off of like the Yak. So I have a black pack where they actually stick out a little bit, and then you have a rod holder. So when it opens up on the backside, they won't get in the way.
So that Pelican case is going to go.
It's like everything in one.
In front of the black pack.
No black pack in the boat.
No black pack in the boat at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Black packs. I did use the black pack yesterday. No, I just found I think a pretty decent way to wire up everything on the inside. Half of it's storage. About some lights to put on the outside, like 8-inch marine strip things we got from West Marine.
Right.
So that'll be my backlights. And then when I'm done at the end of the day, I put on the dock and I just pull out the handle.
Okay.
And roll it up.
Okay.
That's just kind of what I came
That's
to.
it.
Yep.
Easy.
Everything.
Done. Nice.
Yeah. It's Marcus just was like, "Here, you can have this." I'm like, "This is an expensive case." Like, it's just laying around. We've been playing around with stuff, and so I should be done with that next week. I'm going to Jersey my weekend for Easter this weekend. So,
cool.
So I got a lot of work done on my boat. I cleaned it and a bunch of other stuff. I fixed my rudder, not fixed it, but I cleaned out the lines and readjusted it because you get some cable stretch. I moved my boondocks under my seat, so
I saw
balanced
that.
out the
That's
weight.
nice.
That was huge.
That's nice.
That was a big difference. I think that's about it. We sold our last few natives this week. No more bona fides left.
So you don't have any boats to sell anymore?
No boats left. I have 2 in my store. I'm rigging up just basic small battery boxes with depth finders, but I do a lot of those, just the simple ones.
So you are going to rent rigged boats?
Oh no, these are customers' boats.
Gotcha,
but I've been just doing simple fish finder setups for a while.
Gotcha.
Nothing extravagant except Marcus is rigging a lady, Dr. T, her boat, like it's a Titan 12 to like motor guide up front, dual power pole. We narrowed it down to single power pole, USB crap all over. Like it's a ridiculous build.
Wow.
She's we got multiple different battery systems running. He's the mastermind behind that one. It's going to be awesome, but this is like, she's got a custom trailer made for it. This is going to be one decked out boat.
Woo. Wow.
And I think you win a lot of Yak Power stuff with that one.
Okay.
And it's just going to be cool.
Nice.
I lost my train of thought. Yeah, but that's about it.
Just talking about power.
So I got a couple Slayers. I need to get my dad's rigged up soon.
Okay.
And then that's kind of about it. The season's here.
Oh yeah.
So I have my boats. I'm not really going to rig them much. I'm not putting. Let's say rig them. I got Yak Attack stuff for them all over, but I'm not putting electronics on like yours.
Yeah.
So I think I already have a solid chunk of bookings with a few of them from
Nice.
May.
I've actually had a lot of inquiries about bookings, but they're people specifically looking for fish in the creek, and
Yeah.
I'm just honest with them. I'm like,
Yeah.
I caught when I splashed some boats the other day. I caught one really nice rockfish, which was just a bycatch while I was tossing around a paddle tail looking to see what was out there. Same thing. I was same thing you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of scouting for some redfish.
Yeah.
And this big this striper was just
That
short
was the
of-
one where I thought maybe you were joking from last year, and I realized you didn't have teeth. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's recent.
That striper was just shy of 30 inches, probably somewhere right around 28, and took a little white and pink paddle tail that, and I was just tossing around. Same bait that you toss around, a little quarter-ounce jig head looking for. I don't know how I even hooked up with that fish. The mouth was so big, it was just it blew me away. At first, I thought it was a catfish too, because it just kept pulling and pulling. And I had the drag set real light because I was looking for these little redfish. I had the drag set really light, and it just kept going and going and going. So finally, I was like, "Oh, I gotta get on this fish."
Yeah.
And then as soon as I saw it break the water and I knew what it was, I kind of locked the drag down and said, "Okay, I'm not going to let you play out." I kind of cranked it in, which you lose a lot of fish that way.
Mm-hmm.
But once I knew what it was, I wanted to get it on and off the hook as quickly as possible. So
Yeah.
and yeah, that was funny because you thought it was a fish
I
that
was
I
like,
caught last year. Could have knocked me over. I wasn't expecting that fish to be there.
No,
Or
I mean,
not
all the way up
expecting.
there?
Not expecting that fish to be there. And it was not far from the pier either. It
Yeah.
was, I didn't go very far. It's about halfway down to Vera's off my dock. And there it was right in that little cut where it opens up. And there's a little point that comes out where a feeder creek comes in.
Yeah.
And he was just sitting right outside, or she, I'm going to need to say she because that was definitely a female fish. She was sitting right outside that little feeder creek, right where those two pieces of body kind of come. You could see it. You can't really tell where they're going to come together on the surface, but there's got to be because of the way that point works. There's a confluence of a couple of streams of water coming through there.
Speaking of it, I finally got on like the whole Garmin community, like the whatever it's called, and was trying to figure out the maps, like the charts.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to look at some bodies of water, and there's like a whole database of crap.
Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, dang, I should just tap into this instead of trying to do it myself.
There's a ton of that stuff out there.
Because what I'm going to do, like, hoping for my neighbor, like I said, I got multiple. I sold so many of those 5 CVs for Cabela's, remember Bass Pro?
Yeah.
I got a few of those in now, and then, like, my dad's got one, and I'm hoping to figure out how to download a lot of that stuff to those.
I got 3 of them. So,
Yeah. So that'd be cool to.
I was playing. That's the other thing. I was out there with the boat. I was just playing around with the electronics to kind of get a feel for how they work.
Yeah.
They're very simple to operate.
Oh, yeah.
They're very, very simple to operate, and they're very accurate. I really felt like I'm not sure I marked that fish, but I was marking stuff that I didn't know what it was, and now I'm actually thinking when I look back at some of that stuff, I'm thinking, well, those actually may have been fish that I was marking.
I had some really nice marks yesterday in areas where I kind of figured they would be if they were going to be fish.
Yeah.
Which was kind of nice to see because I was going to take out our Titan 10.5 our stores, just to play around with that.
One of the things I think I have to do is I really need to clean up the rudder. It's sloppy. I need to
That's what
tighten
I'm
those
saying,
cables.
yeah, there's a little stretch. It's not as bad when they were cables because they use that nylon Kevlar or whatever. Not as hardcore as the Burley Pro, but
there's a lot of play and a lot of flop.
Yeah.
So I just need to kind of tighten those things up. And
well,
and that was what that day was all about anyway.
Yeah.
It was just splashing some boats, getting them down the hill, which worked beautifully, hooking the trailer up and rolling the boats down the hill. Feels good.
because I
Feels
will
good that
say
worked.
one thing with the natives at least, there is some expansion compression when hot and cold with those rudders. When the boat might be cooking in your storage for a little bit and you put it in the cold water.
Yeah. That makes sense.
That'll affect it, and stuff has to settle in, kind of like a bike would.
Yeah.
Stuff has to settle in a little bit.
I had surface. What were your water temperatures in the creek yesterday?
55, but
I had mid-60s.
I would say that because Noah or whoever, they're reading 47 out at the dock over here.
Yeah, but we're catching surface water temperatures.
Yeah, I'll say my thing is I'm trying to explain it to people today when they ask me. I was like, well, My Garmin's only reading up here.
Yeah, it's reading the top
Yeah.
6 or 10 inches of
Yeah.
water temperature, which is drastically different. But that's the development of a thermocline.
Yeah.
Those fish are going to start looking for that upper warmer layer.
Yep.
And that's what's going to bring them in, and that's what's going to push those fish up onto those flats. So that's what it's all about. It's, they're going to sense that, they're going to realize that warmer water is there, and that's where they're going to go. But it was fun to splash a couple of boats, get them down the hill, get them in the water, actually see the things work, and felt good.
Did you go out Sunday or Saturday?
Sunday. So it was beautiful Sunday.
Sunday was windy as get
no,
out down here.
Saturday was windy. Jerry and I went over and fished the ponds on Saturday. So I fished Saturday and I fished Sunday.
Oh, Sunday down here? Oh
Yeah.
my God.
No, I didn't.
Horribly windy.
Well, that's nice.
Yesterday was real windy too.
There's a couple of places up on the top end of the creek where I can get sheltered away from it. And when I was down towards Vera's, I felt that wind. But when I came back up outside my pier in that basin that's up there, didn't feel it at all. So there's so many places on the creek that I can get out of the wind, which I think is a good.
Yeah. Well, like I was
good thing for
fishing this side of the creek, but when I tried to get over at the mouth of the other one, where there's 2 points that I love to fish, oh man, it was horrible.
Yeah.
Getting blown around everywhere.
Well, I fished Saturday. Jerry and I went over to club and fished, and typical spring pattern, jerk baits just flat tore them up, but I couldn't break through. You can identify where largemouth are, especially in those small ponds like that. The females are beginning in this pre-spawn to stage, and all those little males just showing off. So when you find that like every second cast is an 8-inch fish, and you just do that over and over and over again, there's something else sitting in there.
Yeah.
And I heard it move a couple of times. Water temperatures in the ponds, I mean, we're talking about 2 feet of water, we're up around 70.
Yeah, you sent pictures of those.
And that is warm. And I must have picked up maybe 10 fish, dinkies, and had probably half as many that just shook everything off right at the boat.
Yeah.
And I had one really big swipe at the boat by a big white belly. And I think that was when I had my shot at the mama fish that was hanging around. All those little boys were hanging around. And it was a short strike and right at the boat and didn't hook up. So we only fished a couple hours. It was nice to get out. That was my first back to back, going out and fishing. It felt really good. And I didn't take one of the Titans on Saturday. I took my Old Town on Saturday, and because the Titans I'm pushing down the hill. So that's where they are. But I'm going to tell you, I know it's no catch and release and all that, but it felt really nice to catch into that striper. But I legit thought it was a catfish. I really thought it was a catfish, the way that what it took, where it took it, and how it all came out. I didn't think it'd be a striper that size. And we got people, we dove right in. What's going on in the live stream?
Let's see. Looks like Sean went out to the lake. Said it was
nope,
62.
he's in the river, St. Mary's River.
Oh, river. Sorry, I can't read. Like I said, I don't have Restream up. Steven's in. Billy Jones. William Jones is here. I think my dad popped in on my text about it.
Gotcha. Hopefully we don't have the same problems with this podcast we had with the last one. I don't know what causes all that grief.
Well, I would just say, so I canceled the meetup.
Yeah.
Which is now April 11th, hopefully.
I'm in Texas. I'll be in Texas for that.
I thought about, there's something that I could have done on April 11th. I just picked, because this upcoming Sunday's Easter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what my weekends are going to be like as we get busier. Casey's here. Not Casey Rains, Brian. Casey Richards.
Charles is here too. Hey, Charles.
Charles catches all the fish. Caught some smallmouths on wacky worm today.
Charles, you know what I'm talking about then. You know that female somewhere around in that mix, when all those little boys are tootling around showing off for the ladies, there's a big mama in there somewhere. You know what I'm talking about, Charles. You got to fight through them to get to her, but she's in there. So you canceled the meetup.
Yeah.
And rescheduled to April 11th.
April 11th.
Okay.
So we'll see what's going on then.
Yeah.
But April weather can be horrible.
Yeah, it's the same way.
Yeah.
It's
we'll see.
It's a crapshoot.
I'll do one more and then we'll move on to the next month.
Anytime you're trying to plan something like that, I mean, it's a crapshoot as to whether or not the weather's going to cooperate, and you just got to roll with it. We skipped right past actually taking a
the
look
fishing
at
report.
the fishing report.
What's going on around the state?
Let me start with snakeheads and the transition in.
How about you start with snakeheads?
I'll start with snakeheads.
Okay.
Snakeheads are responding to warm sunshine and turning on for the spring. Your best bet for snakeheads right now are large minnows under bobbers, large inline spinners. Sometimes you can tip them with a minnow or tip them with a piece of like a grass shrimp. That will really turn them on. And white paddle tails all those things are going to entice them to come out to eat. What's going on with largemouth?
Just like the snakeheads, the bucket mouths are turning on as they're about to head into the spawn. Look for transition areas that allow them to quickly and easily access some shallow water, which will be a little bit warmer for you. Look for things like sunken wood, laydowns of the trees. They attract the sun's warmth. And the bait fish, which of course attract the game fish. Jerk baits this time of year, is that what you just said you were using? Are fantastic. Spinner baits, chatter baits, and lipless crankbaits.
Everybody, tomorrow, March 31st, is the last day for striped bass for a while, as the entire month of April is going to be closed down to all striper fishing in the entire bay. No catch and release, no harvest, no fishy. During April, you are not allowed at all to target striped bass in any manner. And if you do happen to pick up a bycatch, keep it in the water as long as possible and handle it really quickly to try to return it back as easily as possible. Yeah. Spring trophy season is going to kick off May 1st and run through May 15th in the bay, while the tributaries are actually remaining closed. So we're not seeing any rockfish or striper fishing until May 16th.
Good.
Except for trophy season, May 1st to May 15th.
How about we take some pressure off them all year and just fish or redfish?
If they show up, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah.
I'm
Blue
happy to do
catfish are biting right now from the north to the south. And everywhere in between and side to side.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, they're all over. Fresh cut baits of white perch. Oh, you're going to use a little white perch as fresh cut bait?
Yeah.
And gizzard shad work well. Speaking of shad are there. Keep in mind, non-offset circle hooks need to be used when fishing for catfish in case a striped bass picks it up.
Which
or
they
vice
will do.
versa. You're like Brian.
True. White perch are waking up from the winter haunts and making their way up into some of the more shallow areas. Casting shad darts tipped with grass shrimp, pieces of blowworm, or minnows. One of the best ways to get on them.
The post-spawn yellow perch are still ding-a-linging around. Minnows on a bottom rig are the best to use for yellow perch, which also shad darts and bottom rigs tipped with grass shrimp. Well, that seems like a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And pieces of bloodworm will work well to attract some perch as well.
Yeah. Just looking in the live stream, Charles said he caught some small males on a wacky worm today. That's over on the eastern shore. Early for the wacky worm, but I like to throw it early too, Charles. I'm right there with you. I tend to think that like the more natural colors work better in this spring window before you go to the real dark, the blacks and the blacks and the blues. Nick wants to know where the hell did the winter go. Needs to get that Slayer in shape. That he said he went out on a creek off the Patuxent in Huntingtown, threw a little road runner and a twisty tail and a quarter-ounce chatter. Nothing but one yellow perch in 4 hours. That's a lot of fishing for one little yellow perch.
So Nick's local. If you have any issues with the Propel, I don't know if you've done it before, Nick. Just let me know. I'll see if I can help out. I've taken a lot of those apart.
What kind of maintenance do you do for those?
Yearly maintenance, what I do is I pull off the upper and the lower. The upper I pull apart and I check to make sure everything, the lock ring, some of the gear pieces are put together. Nothing looks like it's any flakes of metal in there. Repack it with some grease. Same with the lower. I pull the lower apart, check everything's sound. Nothing looks worn out. It's a lot of visuals.
Yeah.
Re-grease a lot of stuff and just seal it back up and put it back together.
Put it all back together.
Yeah, a lot of times you can get away with, there's a grease port on those. I use the Teflon finish line grease that we use in the bike industry, the same exact bottle. So every so often I pump it in there for people.
Yeah.
I pull the crank arms off because I have the bike crank pullers. And I actually red lock. I use on the spindles, I put red Loctite on those.
Really?
Yeah, it keeps them from creaking.
Okay.
Keeps them on there. Takes a little bit to pull them off, but it works. Shuts them up. And then but usually, pumping grease in there, I don't think is as efficient as people think it is. It's actually a lot of hollow space in there.
Mhm.
So unless I really open it up and then put the grease in the right areas, a lot of time it doesn't actually hit anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Charles actually said he found those fish with a spinnerbait and then slowed down and worked with the wacky worm trying to get the females to bite. A spinnerbait is a fantastic searcher bait. Anytime, all times of the year, spinnerbait. You can locate a lot of fish because you can cover the water. Hey Wayne, you looking for baits for April pond fishing? Your little spinnerbaits, your little grub tails, little curly tails, great solution. I love jerk baits. They cannot seem to resist a jerk bait this time of year.
It takes a jerk to jerk.
Yep.
Nick has Nick, I actually had someone make me, my friend Will, welded me up something and then piece it together that I've been using on my natives. But there is some spanners off Amazon that will work.
Really?
If you want a fab, I love fabricated stuff, just like the one I got. I also see, so he's using the 85, 90 weight synthetic oil. I've seen a lot of people fill those up with oil in the native forms. Yeah, I've heard mixed reviews about it. Most of the time, good.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh, okay.
So, but I don't know if you have so 4 or 5. You probably have the 601 drive unit, which I think was pretty bulletproof.
I feel like they're all kind of bulletproof.
Yeah, those things are really solid.
It's simple mechanisms.
Yeah, they changed a little bit of gearing and some bits on the 701 like you got, and some the weed guard and the pedals and the cranks are a little more streamlined.
Which the weed guard was a total fail.
Oh, you got some weed?
Oh yeah.
Oh, well, it's not as bad as the 601 used to really get clogged up.
It was
it prevents you from really jamming it.
It was that slime kind of mossy stuff that wasn't weed. It was that algae, that green algae stuff.
It's not an algae guard, Brian.
It didn't really quit performance. It just when I pulled the boat, it was like, oh, look at that. Then I had to kind of clean it and clear it.
Yeah, and I say that the best resource for all that, the native Facebook forums are great.
Yeah,
yeah. There's a lot of information on there, a lot of wrongs, a lot of rights, a lot of figuring it out.
So I alluded to this earlier. The Maryland Department of Natural Resources just yesterday announced the new regulations for the Chesapeake Bay summer and fall striped bass season. This was unknown up until yesterday, what they were going to do post May 16th. So the 2021 summer-fall season and this is written very oddly because all of the actual regulations they haven't updated yet. So the only thing the release says in most areas of the Chesapeake Bay and its tidal tributaries are going to be open May 16th through July 15th and then resume August 1st through December 10th. Anglers are going to be able to keep one striped bass per person per day with a minimum size of 19 inches. So basically when the trophy season closes down May 15th, then this season is going to open up May 16th. There's going to be a 2-week closure July 15th through the 31st, and then it's going to open back up on August 1st. During the closure period from July 16th through the 31st, anglers will be prohibited from targeting striped bass, which includes catch and release, and this is interesting, charter boats as well. And really, I think that means is there's just no trolling because that's what you're targeting if you're trolling. You're targeting striped bass. I don't think there's any way around it. So that comes out of reports by the Atlantic States Marine Fisheries Commission.
ASMSC is a wreck right now.
So they did determine that conservation measures were needed to reduce the amount of striped bass being removed, including dead discards, which are fish that die after being caught and returned to the water. So that is been the big question mark up until yesterday is what was going to happen May 16th and what was it going to look like. There'd been a lot of talk about what it was possibly going to be, and there'd been chatter, but there hadn't really been any I'd heard the 2-week closure that was going to move to July this year as opposed to August like it was last year.
Yeah.
And that did actually happen. And so I don't think there's any surprises here, but it's good to actually see it.
Yeah.
It's good to actually see it.
Well, Maryland, I think Maryland's meeting was last Tuesday. Was it Monday or Tuesday during this?
I know you said you were supposed to going to watch it or something.
Yeah, I meant to watch it. Jersey finished up the other day, I think. Jersey should have finished up.
Yeah.
I will say, if you want to, I always promote the Saltwater Guides Association, but they started a new podcast.
Okay.
which is like a huge hit because they are nationwide.
Okay.
It's called Guidelines. I caught up driving down to Jersey or North Carolina the other day, but then they're already on episode 5.
Is Tony doing it?
Yeah, Tony, the executive director Willie, their president John McMurray. He's a huge guide up north, and then they have different people on, and they go over all the meetings that have been going on with all the states in the Mid-Atlantic. So yeah, they're on episode 5 right now, which is the Massachusetts, the public hearing that just went on up there.
Okay.
So it's a good podcast. So
I couldn't find it. I was looking for it last
it's
week.
called Guidelines.
Guidelines. So I didn't
Yeah.
have that name. I didn't have that name.
About everyone there except for like Willie and some of the other guys are guides that
Mm-hmm.
are not about banquets and stuff for conservation.
Yeah.
They actually want to get stuff done. All I'll just say is banquets don't solve everything.
I saw Mike McDonald had a question. Any new commercial fishing restrictions? I haven't seen anything on the commercial side. I honestly, in my world, I haven't paid a whole lot of attention to it. Joe, have you seen anything?
I haven't, but I also need to catch up. I talked to Tony for like an hour on Sunday, and all we talked about was fishing. We didn't talk about some of the stuff he's been working on. I got to follow up with him tomorrow because he usually brings me up to speed on a lot of stuff.
Gotcha. And Nick had a question. Wants to know snakeheads have made it into the creeks down by Solomon's. So you catch snakehead down there?
I lost a snakehead last fall up by Anne-Marie Gardens, which isn't like it's not all the way in the back of the creek, but coming up is around the time when the guys and girls are catching them in that tidal pond way in the back of the creek that we went to that one day and got totally skunked. I've heard multiple people on piers in the creek say they've seen them. My neighbor Steve, who's a pretty avid fisherman, said he's seen a few by our dock out here, up towards the marsh area. Yeah, and he's pretty well versed.
I'm amazed that I have not seen them in St. Leonard Creek.
He might not have seen them, but
I have heard people say that they're there.
Yeah,
and I really think I always thought I'd see something in the crab pots, but I think those fish are too smart for that.
Yeah,
I think they're way too smart.
they're geniuses.
To enter into a crab pot. So that doesn't surprise me that I haven't seen them.
But that's your Crocs making that squeak.
Yeah, making a squeaky noise.
Were we talking about the dam on St. Mary's Lake being shut off because you heard snakehead? Were we allowed to say that on there?
No, I think we can talk about that.
No, because they closed all that off.
They closed all of that off, and my theory is because it didn't seem like some of the people who were talking about it had any theory on what it was, and so I was like, I've heard that there's snakehead.
The guys in the tackle box, like
in the
a
spillway
year ago, were saying that.
Yeah,
yeah,
and I don't think that's any big secret that there are snakehead down there. So I thought, well, maybe they shut that down because they don't want people pulling a snakehead out. But then it was like, oh no, they have problems with trash and this, that, and the other. So it's I didn't see that. So. Yeah. I was just kind of speculating, trying to figure out what it was. But I think it's well documented, well known that there's snakehead in that the spillway pool down below the dam at St. Mary's.
Same at Lake Lariat spillway pool.
Yeah.
Yep.
But they don't. You can't fish there anymore because they put signs up saying they don't want people fishing there. So
it only works if you get caught. No, don't do that.
I don't know.
You didn't hear it here.
No, you didn't hear it here. No, that's right. So snakeheads, I think the easiest thing, I mean, you won't know where they are until you go there and try to catch them and then tell somebody, and then everybody will start catching them. But that's okay, because if they're in there, you want to do your best to at least. You're never going to get rid of them, but you want to try to control them or they're going to eat everything up.
So Nick, if you're looking to play around, didn't Jerry go to what's the old Durham Marina down by that little tidal pond?
The what now?
The little marina down by Rousby Hall. It used to be Durr's Marina.
It's right at the top of Mill Creek.
Yeah,
on
it's up
Hall
it's up by the headwaters.
It's not hard to find.
I don't know. It's a very short paddle to the tidal creek in the back of the creek. I think it's like $5 to launch a kayak there if you don't want to paddle all the way from the mouth of the.
Yeah, that's a long ways.
It is a long paddle, and you usually don't feel it till you turn around and go back all the way out. But that tidal pond holds plenty of snakehead. Then you just got to drag your kayak across some rocks.
Which is
on
no
a
big
high
deal.
tide, a low tide might be better. You can get out and pull it a little easier.
I didn't find that to be any big deal.
I didn't find it hard.
No.
Unless a snakehead come by your ankles. So I'm always afraid of something biting my feet.
Yeah, Chesapeake Angler said that, Mike, we give you permission to fish anywhere. Just go for
it. There's the Angler magazine online. Not the printed one.
I don't know that I would. I don't want to say I would. Snakeheads. I've heard people talk about snakeheads in the top end of my creek, but I've gone looking, never seen them, never caught them, haven't spent a lot of time looking, but it does surprise me that they're not there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I do have like a pumpkin seed that'll come down. So, I get very...
Is that like those nibblefish?
I get very fresh side of the brackish at the top end of the creek at certain times. So I've caught lots of pumpkin seed and, little freshwater, traditionally freshwater fish alongside crabs and rockfish and, well, that's no surprise, but, traditional, brackish water fish. So I don't see why they wouldn't be there. And we did go looking last spring. Yeah. Remember, we went and looked, but there was nothing there. At least Potomac River Fisheries regulations for rockfish, Billy. I think that's coming down the exact same. I didn't focus too much on it, but I think that's coming down almost exactly the same as what's going on for everything else. I think that I'm trying to remember if I actually saw in that news release if they actually mentioned the Potomac River specifically included in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Casey, I wouldn't be surprised if they're there and those fish are just too smart. So, Joey, you got anything else before we do some this or that's?
No, there's a lot of stuff going on. We made it through the winter and we're back to the fishing time. And so between all the stuff going on with striped bass, like I said, the best place to probably stay fully informed with that is the Saltwater Guides Association. They have a whole thing on like Amendment 7 and the public hearings and all the other stuff.
With what's going on with striped bass.
Yeah, no. If you have questions, you can email. I'm so busy and out of it. The last I really got into it was a few years ago when we were lobbying up on Capitol Hill with them, and life just got in the way.
Well,
but there's still a way to support them. And like I said, to get direct and better answers versus me. I don't want to butcher it. I don't know. Maybe we'll get Tony back on here for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Have him just do a quick rundown without doing a whole episode on them. So, because I think it's important this year. We're on that breaking point of, do we cripple it forever or do we really help it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Robert, Fletcher shad.
Yeah, I was going to say, I meant to say in the fishing report, Fletcher's is on fire.
Yep. Hickory shad and American shad are both there.
I'm thinking about on the 11th, hopefully it's still kicking. I might take my kayak up, / kayaks up to Fletcher's.
If you're heading up to Fletcher's, you need a DC fishing license.
Yep.
Keep that in mind, folks. So if you're heading up to Fletcher's looking for those shad runs, make sure you get yourself a District of Columbia fishing license. I don't even know where you
Sometimes
get
I get
that.
scared. I'd like the one time, I don't know, I've had all three. Because DC, Maryland, Virginia, I don't want to get in trouble anywhere.
Yeah, where does it where is there reciprocation and where's there not? Yeah.
Yesterday morning, I had this feeling. I was like, I think my title fishing license is up. Yesterday was the day it expired. And I was like, ooh.
I have mine on my calendar as a reminder. It's like, I like that it does that year, that it does the full year.
Yeah.
But there's always that no moment where it's like, when does it expire? When does it start all over again?
I want to see how many fishing licenses I can rack up. Because I bought a DC, I bought a Virginia, I have a Maryland, I bought a North Carolina for a year while I was down there. And I'm going to have a New York next month. I'm going to have a Pennsylvania next month.
That's covering a lot of ground.
I know.
Yeah. I typically get my North Carolina travel down there enough, but I'll get my North Carolina. I don't forget Virginia. I'll hold my Maryland and North Carolina. Okay, you want to do a little of this or that? Everybody in the live stream, please play along. Sure. The first one is a little serious: catch and release or harvest.
Oh, I'm a huge catch and release.
Yeah, I am too.
I don't harvest a lot.
I don't harvest a lot of fish either. Not to say that I won't, but I don't have this mindset of every time I catch a fish, I want to kill a fish, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I have zero desire. I can't tell you the last time I've kept a fish.
I think I kept either 3 or 4 rockfish last year. And one of them I know was gut hooked, and it wasn't going anywhere anyway, so that was sort of a no-brainer. But I've always been a catch and release guy. I don't mind buying my fish.
I think it was 2012. Me and my friend Dan took the skiff up past the Benedict. There's a couple creeks back there. Caught a crap. I love catfish. That's my favorite eating fish. We caught a crap ton of catfish. That's back. I remember wearing a buff on that trip. I went into that really like no window liquor store by the boat ramp on the Benedict. And the guy thought it was some like black water because I had like all olive drab everything on. And I'm wearing like this, a buff. I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "I don't know what you're doing out there in your camo boat and stuff." I'm like, "I went fishing, man. I need ice for my fish." I do love catfish.
Yeah. Looking at the live stream, it's
Jerry harvested my snakehead last year with a knife.
That's true.
He put that knife right through that thing's head.
No, that's a different animal.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem either. If you want to release snakehead, release snakehead. If you want to keep snakehead.
I threw all mine back. I caught like 2 or 3.
I don't, because I know that if I'm going to, if anything, I'm not going to take one of those fish out of the water and kill it just to kill it. If I'm going to
my dad told me if I kill, I got to eat it since I was little. That's
if you kill it, you got to eat it.
Yeah.
And so even if it's a snakehead, because honestly, guys, they are here. They're not going anywhere.
They taste good.
But they are delicious. But I only will keep them out of water that I would not keep one out of 7 ponds next to the sewage treatment plant. No, sir. No way. No how.
Like
no. Your dad said catch and release. Mike said depends on the species. Truth. Yeah. Casey, catch and release. Phil said CPR, catch, photo, release. I like that. Charles, catch and release, except for catfish.
Or do you think Phil's going lips to lips with a fish?
I don't know. He wants to bring it back to life. Sean says Sean goes both ways. His words, not mine. Patrick, harvest the invasives. Absolutely. If that, absolutely. Robert, catch and release. Harvest the put and take trout. That's what they're there for. That's what they're there for. Yeah. Nick said small and largemouth catch and release. Rockfish catch and release 9 out of 10. Snakehead half and half. Whitetail catch and release.
I've never done much hunting in my life, and I never really had a desire. Sometimes I just I don't know. I think if I get in the hunt, and I've been thinking about this a lot lately, I want to, and I don't care. I'll go slap a turkey in the mouth. I want to hunt turkey with a longbow, like legitimately. Something I see myself doing in the future.
The real man thing.
I don't know where there's something about it. Deer do not. I have zero desire with deer.
Yeah.
I don't know what the thing was with deer. And I've been pheasant hunting with my dad, but for some reason I have this. I don't know if it's some like primal instinct. Like I want to go shoot a turkey with a longbow, not a compound bow.
Yeah, a longbow.
Not anything fancy. I want a traditional longbow.
You make it yourself. Do you whittle some trees that you cut down?
There's some, and I love shooting bow at, when I was younger in the summer. I love shooting a longbow. And I just want to get like 20 feet away or closer to a freaking turkey and just put an arrow right through it.
I like the idea, and Brendan just said slap a turkey in the mouth, but you just said you want to slap. Instead of hunting it, you've actually got to slap the animal.
Well, I'll never forget my first real mountain bike when I worked at a shop. I got a really cool mountain bike. I went to Calvert Cliffs the first morning, and I was bombing down one of the chutes from the fire road down to the red trail. And they had those like real janky, Dave probably would say, little jaunts down there. I blasted through a flock of turkeys one morning at sunrise, and like almost kicked a couple turkeys.
They spook you. I've actually had that happen to me on the bike.
You ever seen a turkey fly into a tree? But when I say like you remember Talladega Nights is. When are you just about to get slapped in the mouth or something?
I don't know.
Kid. So I feel like
that would be a fun like whole YouTube channel. It's like hunting to slap an animal.
No, like I don't know. I'm having this urge. I want to find a longbow that I like. We were shooting my friend Dan's down in North Carolina a lot. I want to go hunt turkeys with a longbow.
I think you should do it. If that's your dream.
I don't want to shoot a deer. I don't want to shoot anything else. Just turkeys.
If that's your dream. You should do it. Yeah. Jamie said they should have a flat fee 50-state fishing license for people traveling. I don't think that'll ever happen because these states, none of them are going to come. No, nobody's ever going to come together and make that happen. So we're going to have a new podcast. It's going to be called Slap a Turkey.
That sounds dirty.
Next item, Brendan's all hopped up on Mountain Dew.
You don't remember that?
Yeah, that was from
Talladega Nights.
Talladega Nights.
Yeah, the little kid. Did I say Talladega Nights?
Yeah.
What are you just fixing to get slapped in the mouth? The little redhead kid.
Yeah, it was who was the mother? The mother was Jane Lynch. Jane Lynch was the actress. Anyway, we're coming up on Easter. Jelly beans or Peeps?
Peeps.
Really?
Bogey flavored jelly beans. You know Harry Potter.
Uh-huh.
It's a bogey flavor. I like Peeps.
Yeah. I used to be a big Peeps fan, but it's just
I don't eat a lot of either. I don't know. No, jelly beans. I switched. I do like jelly beans.
I like fruity jelly beans. I don't like the jelly beans that have like licorice and like all the flavors that nobody wants to eat. Yeah. I just want the fruity fun flavors in the jelly beans. Yeah. So I've actually got some jelly beans in the house, and we didn't get any Peeps for this Easter.
I like a raspberry, blueberry, all kinds of jelly beans.
You ever put Peeps in a microwave?
In peep
like,
jousting?
Yeah, give them like a little toothpick.
No, I want to clean up my microwave. I do that like once every few years.
I think I would definitely go with jelly beans. Where's everybody at over
let's
here?
See. Paul is on jelly beans, Jolly Rancher. Patrick McCabe, Peeps. Jamie Brown, Peeps. Brendan says jelly beans. Casey jelly beans, but Peeps jousting is fun. Starburst jelly beans. Mike McDonald said no Peeps yet. Also, Brendan said wild pigs are invasive in this. I do not want to shoot a wild pig with a bow.
Oh God!
You know how dangerous those things are, and the diseases. Like
scary.
No, like I said, there's something driven about turkeys and a longbow.
Robert said jelly bean, and Phil said Peeps. Third item up on this week's This or That, Joey. Tournament fishing or just fish for fun?
Sean said jelly beans on Facebook. Sorry.
Jelly beans on Facebook. Yeah. Tournament fishing or just fish for fun?
I don't tournament fish. And I fish with a fly rod, so I really don't like fish for fun.
Yeah. I enjoyed my tournament fishing last year. I actually really I got a kick out of it. I
love watching people tournament fish.
Yeah.
But it's also not my stress level.
Yeah, it does add a certain.
Yeah.
I remember one point.
You feel like you have to do well. Like there's something about like there's a day, and I don't know if it's because I have the whole mindset with the fly rod and stuff. Like I don't have to go out and fish for numbers. It's more of I don't know.
Yeah.
Dennis was explaining that some philosophical thing with me in that, and I find a whole different passion with it. Like,
yeah,
I love like watching Carrie or Christy, what's her name, and Greg, and some of these other YouTube channels. These people tournament fishing.
Yeah,
and
well, they seem to really
blast.
They seem to enjoy it.
Yeah,
and I think when you're good at it, like at that level, like Christine Fisher or Doug Blanchard,
I love watching a 20 or 30 minute YouTube video of a tournament.
Yeah. Yeah.
Way more nowadays than I like watching the Bassmaster. I know I keep talking.
No, I'm just trying to think.
I love watching the Bassmaster stuff when I was little.
Because I enjoyed. Last year was the first year I tournament fished.
Yeah.
And I remember at one point, I think it was like either when June or July kicked in, and Jerry was like, "Hey, let's go do this or whatever." And I said, "No, I'm going over here to fish." And he's like,
"Brian was always tournament fishing."
He said you're approaching that like work, and at that point, it didn't feel like it, but I was enjoying the competitive nature of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's
always healthy.
I think that's what it was. And I missed it when it was over. And I don't think I'm going to do it this year, although that could change. I might fish May just to see what I can do. May is traditionally the month to get into a KBF tournament. So, and I knew Charles, he says tournament fishing. Let's back up a little bit more.
See.
Wow.
Paul said fun. Phil said fun. Patrick said fun. Jamie Brown, I know a lady jumped
Sean
out
said
of a
fun.
helicopter
Sean said fun.
into a bear and slapped. What?
Sean said for fun. And Jamie said, I know a lady jumps out of a helicopter onto a boar and stabs them. Well, you know some crazy ladies.
Wow. Robert, fish for fun. Charles, Mike, both, but mostly for fun because I wouldn't do it otherwise. Brendan says, Casey said fun. Brendan said I'd slap a casual fishing day in the
mouth. And Nick sent a YouTube link. I don't know what that is. I'm not going to click that in the middle of the live stream.
YouTube.com/watch $Y = P.
And Sean says, I can see there's a lot of work involved in tournament. There is a lot of work in tournament fishing. And I don't think you're not getting the Facebook stuff. I think you're just
I have
YouTube.
Facebook up on YouTube.
So Nick Scott says he fishes to get away from his wife. Woo! Shouldn't
I can't say that in this house.
Nope, not saying that. I don't have anything to do with that.
What was I going to say? There's
how much work there is with tournament fishing.
I feel like where we live, you guys have to do a lot of work to tournament fish. We don't have the types of bodies of water that other.
No.
And everyone says that. I truly believe we do not have the freshwater fishery.
No.
Like you go to a lot of other places around.
You got to go an hour.
It's not conducive. Yeah.
I all of my tournament fish came from Charles County, Mallows Bay, Mattawoman.
Yeah.
All my tournament fish last year came from an hour away. I had to travel at least an hour to catch a fish. Yeah, and then
most of those places are an hour and 20, 30 minutes.
Hour and 15, hour and 20 to get over to Mallows Bay.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's a long ways, and I was doing that a lot, like 2 and 3, 4 times a week.
A lot, and they'd be like, Brian, what are you doing? I'm fishing.
Yeah,
I'm tournament fishing because I'd want to go regular fishing.
Yeah. But no, because those tournaments only ran for 3 weeks, and then we would kind of get off of it, and I'd relax and enjoy it. So that was there's a little bit of a break in it where it came from too. But I was excited when KBF spun off KSS Kayak Saltwater.
Yeah, because
they were going to do a rockfish tournament. But how can you do a rockfish tournament when catch and release is closed down?
Because the problem, like with the redfish one they were doing, was, remember I was telling you, was the regions, and it was like you're competing with people in southern North Carolina when a regular day is a 25 to 30 inch,
and we're not having anything close to that.
So this year we might.
It would be interesting. I think if there could be like a late season catch photo release for rockfish.
We could do a SOMD yak angler version.
Why not? I wanted to do one for
also,
Fort Hill.
I haven't responded. Sean made some really cool logos.
I saw those.
Yeah, I got to put one as the banner. And
I didn't understand the guy in the kayak had a little fat belly. Although then I thought about who was fishing with this girl. It's like,
all
of us. Last item on this week's This or That, Joey: fish with friends or fish alone?
Actually, you're gonna know my answer for that one.
I know
I'm
your
really bad
answer.
with it. I don't know. I like fishing alone.
It's okay. You be you. You can answer this any way you like.
I don't know. I don't know. It sounds selfish.
No,
there are times I love going out fishing with friends, but there's some times where I don't know. I just get out there and get my zone.
Yeah.
And
I think when you depends on what you need out of the day.
Yeah.
If you need that camaraderie,
there's a lot of times
it's fun to fish with people. I find it fun to fish with people, but there are also those days when it's like, I just want to go do a thing and kind of check out and zone out. So I think it's actually okay to say both.
Yeah, I say both, because there's some days I want to go explore and do stuff, and I'm not worried about holding people's hands and doing all that. And other times, like, I think one of my favorite fishes last year, because my dad didn't get out a whole lot, was the decent sized redfish he caught, like right out here early morning, nice foggy. It was just, everything was perfect. That was probably one of my favorite fish that I've seen all year.
Yeah.
Besides my tail and fish down in North. Yeah. That'll be a joke between my dad and, because I talk about that fish a lot. But I mean, that was out with friends, my dad, and I have fun with people. But at the same time, there's sometimes I just like to.
I think you can get into a rhythm with people too when you fish with, like, Jerry and I fish together a lot, and it's like there ain't no hold hand, there ain't no hand and hold hand, hand holding with all of that.
And I don't mean hand holding like that, but I want to do something and I forget to tell someone.
But
I'm like,
your dad had a comment here a little bit earlier. He's like, he likes to he enjoys seeing other people catch fish. I kind of get a kick out of that too.
When he went out with me, and then I like taking a couple employees from work out a couple mornings, and most of the time I wasn't fishing. I was going with them and kind of setting them up and doing all the work and seeing them people that don't catch fish a lot at all catch fish. It's a blast.
Yeah.
And if I'm just staging rods and stuff and getting in the right spot, then so be it.
What's the live stream's take on this? You want me because you're
okay.
Are you getting one side?
I'm
of the
getting
house?
both.
Okay.
I get lost in I'll have you recap Facebook.
Okay.
I do see Sean. I fish alone a lot, but wish I had someone to go out with more. Let's see.
I think that was the only.
Yeah, Mike
Facebook
McDonald said alone. Paul said fish with friends, enjoy watching people catch fish. Patrick said alone means there's no time limit.
True. That's true.
That's why I have lights on my.
There's
I
also
stayed out way too long.
There's also no like, I gotta stay fishing if it's not happening that time.
Phil said depends. I like putting friends on fish. Jamie Brown said both. Casey said alone, especially if friends don't wake up in time. You gotta be punctual. Robert S. said
you, Brendan.
Friends before and after alone wallfish. That was my problem with the young kids from the store. I'd be up at 5:00 and waiting down there at 5:30 or whatever, and then, I just woke up. I'm like, and you're waiting 40 minutes. And,
Yeah.
Sorry, boat's leaving.
That doesn't work. You can't do that.
I've only overslept a friend once. I was working said banquet one year till like midnight, and we were leaving at 5 o'clock to go up to the nuke plant. I overslept that alarm. I woke up to his phone call. I was like, I'm at the ramp. Because I was like, oh, sorry, man. Like, I will never do that to someone, and I did it once.
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens. It happens. It happens to the best of us.
Watch out for those banquets.
You got anything else before we want to shut this thing down, Joey?
No.
Excited for March to be coming to a close. I'm excited for April to be here and for fish. Honestly, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm so ready.
I don't know if I'm ready.
I am. I am more than ready.
This is a busy season.
I have just been, feel like I'm locked in the rigging mode for so long, and it's like one thing after another after another after another, and now that that's finally coming to a close, I got a few more big projects.
I know I'm going to get slammed soon.
Yeah,
What's
you are.
nice though is the propel boats I'm renting. I basically tell people to take them off site, just pick them up,
Just pick them up and go.
pick them up. There's landing gear on them.
Yep.
There's some rod holders and other crap. Just take them and bring them back in one piece.
Yeah. And you're giving them T-bones too, right? If they need them.
If they need them, yeah. I got a couple. I should have a whole Boondocks order coming soon, hopefully.
Somebody going to show up with like a convertible and try to load that thing in there?
With Fair Harbor, and you can write notes. There's a lot of fine print on that one.
Yeah.
If you show up in like a Z8 Corvette or whatever, and you're like, oh, I'm going to take this Titan 10.5. There is a zero refund policy for being stupid. I wrote so much on that you get an email when you confirm it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Zero refund for stupidity.
Hey, Jamie, I am with you. He's ready for the wind to leave. Although it's
Hopefully.
spring.
It's spring in southern Maryland.
It's got to find ways to work around it.
Yeah.
It's just the way that it is. All right, let's shut this thing down, Joey.
Yep.
Thanks, everybody, for listening and watching this episode of the Maryland Fishing Line.
No glitches?
No glitches. Well, we're not over yet.
Glitches get snitches.
You can find us at facebook.com/Angler Magazine Chesapeake. I'm on Instagram at Chesapeake Angler and at BN Range. Joey, how can folks get in touch with you?
I am on the gram at Joey Skorsky24, and my paddle shop is Pack Paddle Sports.
And, of course, youtube.com/Chesapeake Angler. We'll talk to you again next week.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.
Look at Mike McDonald's. Can you read that out loud?
Yeah, the one-liners from this show are great. He goes both ways. I want to slap a turkey in the mouth. Brendan is all hopped up on Mountain Dew. She jumps out a helicopter on top of a pig and stabs it. That's kind of what it's all about. It's our show. We do what we want to do.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody, on the live stream.
We were at an hour.
Thanks for joining us this weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
You know what time I went to bed last night?
No, what time?